Okay, this is Honda Hobbit PA2 rebuild. Here's the carburetor. As you can see, it's been cleaner in the past. Someone didn't reassemble it quite right, so now I've got this flat part right here, which means it's not sucking everything up through the air intake properly. This is something I'm going to have to live with. So anyways, fuel line hose. I'm replacing it. So I cut a length to match it because it is an awful restricted space in there. I'm not going to be reusing the clamps. I went over to a local hardware store, picked up some small pipe clamps. They work really good. They're reusable. You can get a wrench on them, you know, so you have more than just a screw, because this screw here is stripped. So it took quite a bit just to get it to turn. So, there you go. That one's done. I'll put that back on after. So, take your handy dandy screwdriver. Now, if I can, I will reuse gaskets. Is it proper? Should I have a carburetor rebuild kit for a Honda Hobbit? Yes. Do I have time for that? No. Will I probably have time in the future if it starts leaking? Yes, I do realize there are risks in doing it, but nonetheless. So, first thing I do with every carburetor is look at the overall general design. Generally, you can take off the float bowl without causing any damage, but I had one carburetor where it actually ran through the float bowl and into here. There was a feed tube that went through the carburetor and actually fed it on an angle, so you had to actually remove that first. In that particular carburetor, when you went to take off the bowl, and if you reefed on it, you could get it out, but then it would damage the tube. So you have to try to look, make sure there's nothing funky like that going on. So there we go. Oh, good. This one's nice and easy to take off. So lots of rust and sediment in there. And some water. You can see the water floating in the gasoline, what's left of it in there. The fact that it has gasoline in it means that this whole assembly has probably stayed relatively clean. A lot of sediment, a lot of sand and dirt. So, one of the first things you can do, and you have to be careful, is you remove this pin. It's pretty much standard on all carburetors. Take your float out. There it goes. Did you catch that? There's a small needle valve that rides in on this thing. Now they all have different things like pins that hold them in. This one's pretty simple.